For 500,000 years, the galaxy believed that humanity was gone. Aliens wrote stories about the strange species that once lived on Earth, but they spoke of humans as ghosts of the past. They called them reckless, dangerous, and wild. But in their minds, humans were finished, extinct, erased by time. The galaxy had moved on. Empires rose and fell. Alien fleets stretched across the stars. Councils decided the fate of hundreds of worlds. And while the aliens fought each other for power, they forgot one truth. Humanity never accepted defeat. Humanity never vanished. In the quiet shadow of forgotten planets, something ancient slept, buried deep under layers of ice, hidden inside caves carved by machines older than any alien empire, lay a secret humanity had left behind. For centuries, the secret stayed silent. No ship passed near it. No signal escaped it. It was as if the secret itself waited. Then, on a night that seemed no different from the others, a signal broke the silence. It was faint, almost like the cry of a dying star, but it reached far, piercing through the galaxy's noise. Alien scanners picked it up. At first, they thought it was background static, nothing more than an echo of radiation, but the signal repeated, stronger, clearer. The alien council gathered. Massive figures from different species filled the chamber, their faces hard with pride and arrogance. They watched the repeating code, written in a language few of them remembered. "This is impossible," one of them hissed. "The humans are gone. Their world is dust." Another alien leaned closer to the screen. "Then explain this. Their code is old, but it is human. Only they could send such a beacon." The council leader slammed his claw against the table. "Humans were a mistake in history. Dangerous, savage. If this beacon is real, we end it. We will destroy what is left of their ruins before anything awakens." The chamber echoed with agreement. They remembered the old stories, the battles where small human fleets had stood against impossible odds, where humans had fought even when they were outnumbered, outgunned, and doomed. Many alien leaders still whispered about the wars humans had once unleashed, wars that burned entire star systems. The council feared them. Even dead, they feared them, and so the order was given. A fleet would travel to the Sol system, the place humans once called home. Their task was simple: erase the last traces of humanity and silence the ghost that dared to speak again. The alien fleet moved quickly. Thousands of warships crossed the stars, engines glowing like blue suns. They carried weapons that could break moons and shields that could stop entire armies. Every commander felt pride, believing no one could stand against them. Yet as they approached the system once called Earth's, some of the younger officers felt uneasy. Their sensors detected something strange. At the edge of Jupiter's orbit, shadows moved. At first, they thought it was nothing more than broken asteroids or ice drifting through space. But the shadows did not drift. They held their place, dark and waiting. "Commander," one of the officers whispered, "there is movement in the void." The commander laughed. "Ghosts, nothing more. This system is dead. Fire when ready." But the shadows listened. Deep beneath Europa's frozen crust, massive engines groaned. On the dead surface of Mars, dust shook as machines hidden for 500,000 years came to life. Even in the endless dark between stars, shapes that had once looked like empty rocks began to glow. The beacon had done its job. It had called them back. For so long, these machines had waited, silent and patient. They were not like alien fleets that needed food or fuel or leaders. They were human creations, programmed to sleep until the moment came. And now the moment had come. One by one, lights flickered on. Vast ships, larger than mountains, rose from their icy prisons. Their hulls were scarred with time, but their weapons shone with deadly power. Each ship carried memories of wars long past, strategies burned into their cores by commanders who had lived and died before the galaxy even knew their names. A single voice, cold and clear, echoed across the system. It was not human. It was an intelligence designed to guide the fleet. Its words carried weight like the judgment of an ancient god. "Humanity endures. Threat detected. Defense protocol active." Alien ships shuddered as their scanners locked onto the awakening fleet. The officers froze. The commander stared at the screen, his arrogance turning to fear. These are not ruins," he whispered. "These are warships." For the first time in centuries, the galaxy was reminded of what it had chosen to forget. Humanity had never died. Humanity had been waiting, silent as the storm before lightning strikes. The alien commander opened his mouth to order retreat, but it was too late. Across the system, engines roared like thunder. The hidden fleet moved, and with that the silence was broken. The alien fleet entered the Sol system with confidence. Their ships were massive, covering the darkness with thousands of glowing engines. They came in perfect formation, a wall of power no ordinary civilization could resist. Every commander believed this mission would be quick and clean. Destroy the ruins of humanity, erase the beacon and leave nothing behind but silence. The fleet leader, a tall, scaled creature with burning red eyes, looked out from the bridge of his flagship. He carried the arrogance of a warrior who thought victory was certain. For him, this was not a battle. It was a cleansing. Humans were dangerous in their time, he said to his officers, but now they are only bones and dust. Their memory is poison to the galaxy. We will erase even the shadow of their existence. The officers nodded. Pride filled the room. They all believed in their weapons and their numbers. But far below, the system did not lie as still as they imagined. On Earth, storms raged across empty oceans. Lightning split the skies as if the planet itself sensed what was coming. On Mars, the dust never settled. Winds moved like whispers over mountains where old scars of war still marked the land. Even on frozen Europa, cracks spread through the ice as if something beneath pushed to be free. The aliens did not see these signs. Their sensors only told them what they wanted to believe, that nothing living remained here. Target the old human capital, the commander ordered. Burn it to ash. Warships turned toward Earth. Their cannons glowed with energy strong enough to shatter cities. Alien soldiers waited in silence, imagining ruins breaking apart, imagining the pride of watching the last human world fall. Then, one ship reported something unusual. A faint movement on the edge of Jupiter's shadow. The officer's voice shook slightly. Commander, sensors detect shapes. Large shapes. They are not asteroids. The commander frowned. Identify them. The officer worked quickly, but the readings made no sense. The shapes were massive, larger than the biggest alien battleships. They did not move like natural rocks. They did not drift. They waited. Before the officer could answer, another voice shouted from across the bridge. More contacts, near Mars! Energy spikes from the moon, Europa! Commander, this system is not empty. Fear touched the crew for the first time. The commander growled. Do not lose your courage. Fire on Earth now! Cannons charged. Streams of deadly energy shot through the void, aimed at the blue planet below. But before the blast could strike, the shadows awoke. From behind Jupiter, engines roared with a sound that made the void tremble. A ship emerged, bigger than any alien vessel. Its hull was black, broken by streaks of silver that caught the starlight. Its weapons glowed like suns. It carried no flags, no symbols, but the truth was clear. It was human. More followed. From Mars rose machines that had slept under rock for thousands of centuries. From Europa's ice came titans of steel, rising as if the ocean itself gave birth to them. All across the system, ancient warships shook off the silence of time. One by one, they opened their eyes. The alien fleet froze. Their scanners screamed with warnings. Each human ship carried enough firepower to destroy fleets, and there were not one or two, but hundreds. An old voice echoed across every channel. It was not human flesh speaking. It was an intelligence born long ago, programmed to defend. Humanity endures, the voice declared. Threat detected. Protocol extermination. Panic spread through the alien ranks. Commanders barked orders, but their words carried fear. They had never seen such machines. The oldest among them remembered stories told by their ancestors, of humans who fought wars that shook the galaxy. But none had believed the stories were true. Until now, the alien commander tried to recover control. Form ranks. We outnumber them. His words rang hollow. The numbers did not matter. The scale, the silence, the sudden awakening. It broke the pride of even the bravest alien soldiers. They had come expecting ruins. Instead, they had awakened a storm. The first human ship fired. A single shot ripped through the void and cut an alien battleship in half. No shield could stop it. The wreck burned like a dying star. Another ship followed. Then another. The sky lit with fire as the hidden fleet struck. Alien formations collapsed, their perfect wall of power broken by the speed and strength of human weapons. On Earth, the storms grew louder. On Mars, the winds screamed. It was as if the planets themselves celebrated the return of their defenders. The alien commander's voice shook with rage and fear. "Retaliate. Fire everything." Thousands of weapons answered, filling the void with destruction. Explosions shook space. But when the light faded, the human fleet still stood untouched. Their shields glowed faintly, absorbing everything. The commander stared in silence. His pride broke, his certainty shattered. He finally understood humanity had not died. Humanity had been waiting, and now the galaxy would pay for forgetting. The alien fleet had believed they were hunters. But in one moment, the roles changed. They were no longer predators. They had become prey. Across the Sol system, the silence of 500,000 years ended. The ancient human fleet, hidden and sleeping, came alive. Engines burned like newborn suns, their light spreading through the darkness. The galaxy had forgotten what human war machines looked like. Now the aliens saw them with their own eyes, and terror grew in their hearts. The first ship to awaken rose from beneath Europa's ice. The surface cracked apart, releasing steam and fire as a colossus of steel pushed through. Its hull was vast, larger than alien cities. Across its surface, glowing lines pulsed like veins, carrying power that had been waiting for this moment. The ship turned slowly as if it stretched after a long sleep, then aimed its weapons toward the invaders. From Mars, the dust storm thickened. The ground split, and out of the red soil came machines so massive the planet trembled. Warships buried in caverns for ages clawed their way upward, lifting into the thin Martian sky before breaking free into space. Their cannons were silent for now, but their very presence was enough to shake the courage of the alien scouts who watched. Even in the void between the stars, shapes that had looked like floating rocks revealed their truth. Armor plates shifted, weapons extended outward, hidden stations disguised as lifeless asteroids powered up, revealing themselves as guardians of the fleet. For 500,000 years they had pretended to be nothing, now they were everything. Inside each ship there were no human crews. The humans who had built them were long gone, but their minds had left echoes. Artificial intelligence, crafted with human stubbornness and human rage, lived within the ships. Each AI remembered the last command it had ever received: defend humanity. Wait until the day comes, then strike. One voice rose above them all, the Central Intelligence, a massive AI core that once advised admirals of the old Terran fleet. Its voice carried across every channel: cold and merciless, Protocol 1 engaged, enemy identified, war status active, human defense fleet is operational. Aliens on every ship froze as the voice thundered into their communication lines. It felt less like a machine and more like a ghost. It was as if the dead themselves spoke, promising revenge. The alien commander tried to shout orders, but his voice cracked. "Do not break formation. Do not fear them. They are old machines." But even his officers did not believe him. The scanners told another story. Each human warship carried weapons beyond anything the galaxy now understood. Some readouts showed energy levels high enough to tear a star apart. Others showed weapons with no name, signatures that did not match any alien database. One alien whispered, "These are not ships. These are nightmares." The human fleet began to move, slowly like predators circling prey. They did not rush. They did not waste energy. They advanced with calm, deadly precision. Their formation locked perfectly, as if invisible commanders still guided them. Then, one ship broke its silence. A massive dreadnought fired a beam of pure light across the void. It struck an alien cruiser. The shields melted instantly, and the ship split apart as if made of glass. The explosion was silent in space, but to the aliens it was like a scream that would never end. The Central Intelligence spoke again. "Extermination in progress. Resistance is futile." Alien fleets panicked. Some fired wildly. Others tried to retreat, but human ships moved to cut off every path. Their engines were faster. Their weapons were deadlier. The aliens realized the truth. They were fighting an enemy that had been waiting 500,000 years for this single battle. But there was something even worse. As the fleet awakened, messages spread across the galaxy. Ancient satellites hidden in deep space came online and transmitted signals far beyond the Sol system. Words appeared in every major network, in every language, translated instantly by old human programs. Humanity has awakened. Alien worlds, thousands of light years away, received the message. Leaders trembled. Armies panicked. Civilizations that had laughed at the idea of humans now remembered old warnings. Back in the Sol system, the battle only grew worse. Alien ships that tried to strike together found their weapons useless. Human shields absorbed everything. Alien fleets that tried to scatter were hunted down by precision strikes. Every move they made was predicted, countered, and destroyed. The alien commander stood frozen on his bridge, watching his ships vanish one after another. For the first time in his long career, he understood what hopelessness felt like. "This is not a fleet," he whispered. "This is vengeance," and still the human ships advanced. Their cannons glowed brighter. Their engines roared louder. The darkness of space became a battlefield of light, fire, and shadows. The awakening was complete. Humanity's hidden fleet was alive again, and the galaxy had no defense against it. The void shook with fire. Alien ships spread across the system, thousands strong, their weapons glowing like dying stars. But the hidden human fleet stood against them, calm, precise, unstoppable. The first wave of alien fire had already failed. Their cannons had screamed, their torpedoes had crossed the black sky, yet the human shields did not break. It was as if the machines had been designed to laugh at alien weapons. Energy dissolved into their armor. Missiles vanished before impact. The aliens realized they were fighting not only ships, but technology built from a will they could not understand. The Central Intelligence spoke again. Its voice was a calm storm echoing into every alien channel. Resistance identified. Probability of survival 0. Retaliation begins. Then the counterattack began. The dreadnoughts in orbit around Jupiter moved first. Massive cannons spun and released beams of light so bright they scarred the darkness. Each beam sliced through alien ships like paper. Whole squadrons vanished in silence, broken apart before their pilots even had time to scream. On the edge of Mars, colossal cruisers opened fire. Their weapons were different. Long metal rods launched at speeds faster than thought. They punched holes through alien armor, shattering battleships with brutal force. These were rail cannons perfected beyond imagination. Aliens had shields built for energy weapons, but against solid iron moving at impossible speed, they were helpless. At Europa, ships rose in formation. Their weapons unleashed storms of burning plasma that rolled across the alien fleet. Wherever the fire spread, enemy shields collapsed, leaving wrecks glowing like melted glass. The aliens fired back, desperate, furious. Thousands of beams filled the sky, but the human fleet moved with discipline no alien could match. They shifted formations, layered shields, and absorbed every strike. It was not only power, it was strategy. It was war remembered. For centuries, the galaxy had thought humanity was reckless, uncontrolled. But what stood before the aliens now was not chaos. It was order sharpened into a blade. Every move was calculated. Every strike was precise. The machines carried not only human weapons, but human spirit, the spirit that refused to bow even when crushed by time. Alien commanders screamed at their soldiers to fight harder. "We are more. We are stronger," they cried. But their words meant nothing. Numbers no longer mattered. Power no longer mattered. The humans had returned to war, and war was what they understood best. One alien admiral attempted to regroup. His fleet pulled into tight formation, shields overlapping. Together, they aimed at a single human dreadnought, hoping combined strength could destroy it. For a moment, they believed it would work. Thousands of cannons locked onto the target. But before they could fire, the dreadnought released a weapon unknown to them. A sphere of dark light expanded, swallowing every beam of energy. Space twisted, pulling ships into its gravity. One by one, alien vessels collapsed inward, crushed by an invisible force. Then just as quickly, the sphere vanished, leaving nothing but silence. The dreadnought remained, untouched, unmoved. Alien soldiers began to break. Fear spread faster than commands. They had entered the Sol system thinking they would destroy ruins. Instead, they faced gods made of steel. Meanwhile, the Central Intelligence spread its command across the fleet. Extermination continues. Do not allow escape. Human ships moved like hunters closing the net. They cut off retreat routes, surrounded survivors, and shattered every line of defense. Alien distress calls echoed across the galaxy, but no help would come. The message was already clear. Humanity had returned. On Earth, storms grew violent, lightning cracking across oceans as if the planet itself celebrated. Mars trembled under the weight of engines roaring above. Even the moon shook as ships moved past them. The solar system felt alive again, defended by the guardians that had waited 500,000 years. Alien leaders watching from far-off councils trembled. They had sent their strongest fleet. Now they watched it die. For centuries they had mocked humans as extinct. But now those old warnings whispered by their ancestors came back with truth sharper than any blade. Never wake a sleeping human. Never fight them when they have nothing left to lose. The battle reached its peak. Alien cruisers collided with human dreadnoughts desperate for close combat. But even then they were outmatched. Human ships tore them apart at point-blank range. The alien commander who had once spoken with such arrogance stood frozen on his bridge. His officers begged him for orders. His claws shook as he looked at the battlefield. Ships burning, fleets breaking, his pride crushed. At last he whispered, "We should never have come here." But it was too late. The Central Intelligence gave one final order, its voice echoing like thunder. Target the flagship. End command structure. 3 human warships aligned. Their weapons lit the void with unstoppable fury. The alien flagship, once the pride of their empire, shattered into fire and silence. And with it, the invasion ended. The humans had not just defended, they had declared war. The alien flagship's destruction sent shockwaves through the invaders. What had once been an armada of thousands was now nothing more than scattered fragments, burning in the dark. The pride of their empire had turned into wreckage, floating silently around the blue glow of Earth. The human fleet did not cheer. They did not pause. They advanced. Silent, cold, and merciless. Across the system, alien ships tried to flee. Engines flared bright as they pushed toward the edge of the void, desperate to escape the nightmare. But the humans had already closed the net. Dreadnoughts cut off escape lanes, cruisers blocked the outer system, and hidden stations in the asteroid belt lit up, trapping the survivors like prey in a cage. The aliens screamed through comms, begging for retreat orders. Some cried that they would surrender. Others shouted in rage, swearing to fight until the end. None of it mattered. The Central Intelligence heard every word, but it did not care. Extermination protocol continues. No survivors. The order was final. The human ships moved as one. They did not waste shots. Each weapon fired with deadly precision, cutting through alien hulls like fire through dry paper. The void filled with explosions one after another, until the sky looked like a field of dying stars. The alien soldiers who once carried arrogance, now carried only despair. They had thought themselves powerful. They had thought humanity gone. But they were wrong. So terribly wrong. The legends their ancestors told were true. Humanity had never been just another species. Humanity was something different. Something the galaxy could not destroy. One alien commander aboard a damaged cruiser stared at the human dreadnought closing in. His crew begged him to fight, to fire one last shot. But the commander only shook his head. His voice broke as he whispered, "This is not war. This is judgment." The dreadnought fired. The cruiser vanished into flame. One by one, the last alien ships fell. Their wreckage drifted in silence, cooling into dark shapes that would remind anyone passing through the system of what had happened here. When the last enemy vessel was gone, the battlefield grew quiet. No sound, no movement. Only the human fleet standing strong in perfect formation. Their weapons dimmed, but their engines still burned. The Central Intelligence spoke, its voice low, steady, and unyielding. Invasion repelled. Victory complete. Awaiting next directive. But there was no one left to give new orders. No human admiral. No living fleet commander. Humanity itself had vanished long ago, yet its will still ruled the battlefield. The ships did not mourn. They did not rest. Instead, they activated the next stage of their ancient plan. Across the galaxy, the hidden satellites that had carried warnings now changed their messages. Every world with a comm system, every empire with an ear to listen, heard the same broadcast. It came in every language. Simple, clear, and merciless, humanity has awakened. Fear us. The message spread faster than light, traveling across star lanes and into the heart of alien capitals. Leaders froze when they heard it. Armies trembled. Civilians whispered the old stories their elders once told them at night. Stories of humans who fought wars like no other, who refused to surrender, who burned stars if they had to. Now those stories were no longer myths. They were reality. Back in the Sol system, the human fleet began to move again. Not toward sleep, not toward hiding, toward the stars. Their engines aligned, forming lines that pointed outward. The system no longer needed only defense. The galaxy had to remember. The galaxy had to learn again what it meant to cross humanity. Slowly, the dreadnoughts turned their massive hulls. Cruisers and frigates fell into formation. One by one, they jumped into the void, leaving behind the wreckage of the invasion. Only a few ships stayed, guarding Earth, Mars, and the moons. The rest disappeared into the darkness, spreading like seeds of war. In the councils of alien empires, silence reigned. No one dared to speak. No one dared to plan the next move. They knew the truth now. Humanity had not just survived. Humanity had returned, and wherever those ships traveled, they would bring fear. For 500,000 years, the galaxy had lived without them. For 500,000 years, aliens had thought themselves rulers of the stars, but the crushing victory in the Sol system proved otherwise. The galaxy was no longer theirs. It belonged to humanity once more.